Hi, I'm Peyton, and I'm going to be talking about how to read music in treble clef. So before getting into treble clef, there's two different clefs. Treble is a lot higher than bass, and treble is typically played by flute, clarinet, saxophone, French horn, trumpet, sometimes baritone. They exist together, and you can play in both if you play a lot lower or a lot higher than your instrument, but typically you don't. So in treble clef, there's in both clefs there's notes on the lines and in the spaces. So in treble clef, if you start on the space below the staff, which are the lines on a sheet of music, it goes D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and the top line is F. Music can go on infinitely, higher and lower, and it just keeps on in that order. But you use ledger lines when you go higher or lower than the staff. But before you actually look at the notes and the actual music, you have to look at the key signature and the time signature. The key signature tells you how many flats or sharps you're gonna be playing in. And if there is a flat at the beginning of the piece, then every note in that piece will be flat unless told otherwise. Same if it's sharp. And there can be multiple flats or sharps. And that goes in with accidentals. There's flats, sharps, and naturals. So if the key signature says it's flat, then there can be a sharp or a natural to tell you otherwise, and so on. Time signature tells you how many beats there are in a measure and how many of those. So typically the most common time is 4/4, which means there's going to be 4 quarter notes in a measure. And so that goes into note lengths, where there's a whole note, which is 4 beats, a 4-beat note. There's half notes, which is 2 beats in a note. A quarter note, which is 1 beat. And an eighth note, which is half a beat. A 16th note, which is a quarter of a beat. A 32nd note, which is an eighth of a beat, and it keeps getting smaller and smaller. And then you can get into dotted notes, which means you add on half of the note's value to the end. So there's a dotted quarter note, which means it would be a beat and a half.
Do you send Carter Muck to see Coach McMean?
He's not here.
Not here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then other than the notes, there's music outside of the music, like dynamics. So there's crescendos, which means you gradually get louder as you play, and decrescendos, which you gradually get softer. So dynamics is the volume you play, and there's many, but there's 4 main ones. There's piano, which is the quietest, mezzo piano, which is somewhat quiet, mezzo forte, which is somewhat loud, and forte, which is loud. You can get louder and softer if you add the more P's, like pianissimo is quieter than piano, and fortissimo, double F, is louder than forte. Okay, well, we're going to break now.
Wildcat Nation News is a student-run media outlet here at Silver Springs High School.
We cover your news,
Sports,
opinion,
and anything else that happens here at Silver Springs High School.
We are Wildcat Nation.
it's your news.
Your life.
stay with me. So first you look at it has piano accompaniment, but we'll start at the actual playing part. But first you look at the time signature and the key signature. The B there means flat, and it's on the B line, so that's B flat. So every note in this piece is going to be B flat unless otherwise. And then you look, there's 4 beats in a measure. So all this equals to 4 beats. You're going to start with a 8th note rest and go into 2 16th notes connected to an 8th note A, an F G 16th note, A 8th note, an F G 16th notes, A 8th note, an F 8th note, an F quarter note. And then there's 3 beats of rest, because this is a half note, equivalent to 2 beats of rest, and this is 1 beat of rest. We're back to an 8th note of rest, and there's F 16th note, G 16th note, A 8th note, F 8th note, A 8th note, F, G 16th notes, A 8th note, C 8th note, and A quarter note. And then there's 3 more beats of rest. So this would go bum ba 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 bum bum bum. Bum 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 ba ba bum 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 ba. And then you get to here. And there's another 8th note rest and a D 8th note, a C 8th note, A 16th note, G 16th note, and then a 8th note, G 8th note, F 8th note, A 8th note, and A quarter note, and 3 more beats of rest. And then there's another 8th note rest and F 16th note, G 16th note, A quarter note, F 16th note, G 16th note, A quarter note, F 16th note, G 16th note, C quarter note, F quarter note, A 8th note, F 8th note, F quarter note. And then there's 1 rest and half a beat of rest. F 8th note, C 8th note, F quarter note, A 8th note, C 8th note, and 1 beat of rest. And besides the actual music, there's other things, like it says to play mezzo forte, which means don't play as loud. And there's a repeat. So you'll play all the way through this and play the first ending and go back to the beginning and play all the way through and skip the first ending and go to the second ending. But there's also where you play all the way through the piece and it says dies al coda, which means you go back to this sign and you play all the way through until it says to the coda and go here. Okay. So there's that's about all we have for treble clef, reading in treble clef, and